Hello, I'm Julianne, and I'm going to show you how to paint your dragonfly magnet ornaments from the Dragonfly Art Kit. So this is what the finished product looks like, the magnet on the back. All right, I'm gonna just point the camera down so you can see what I'm doing as I work. All right, so we're gonna start out. You've got your paper dragonfly cutouts that come in the kit, and the first step is to get the paper wet, both sides. And we do this so that as you're painting, the paint flows, and then we get both sides wet so that the paper doesn't curl up too much on you. Okay, get that nice and wet, flip it over. And then you're going to take some of your paint, whichever colors you want. I generally use mostly the gold and the pink for the first layer. This first layer you're going to put on is going to be very light, and it's going to be basically the color of the wings. So I'm going to just put a couple dabs of gold on here. And you can actually do it on the whole dragonfly because the color adds some interest to the body as well. I'm going to put a little bit of magenta. And you want that to kind of flow. And not too dark, so I'm just adding a little water to lighten it up a little. All right, so let's see how that looks. I'm going to set that aside. I've got one that I've already painted, so I can show you the next step. So it's all dry now. You let that dry, and then you take your gloss applicator in your kit. And the first thing you're gonna do is cut off the tip. And you wanna cut it off as close to the opening as possible. That gives you a thinner line. It gives you a little more control. All right. So now you're gonna squeeze the gloss into the tip of the applicator, and then draw with it on the wings. I usually do just a couple lines. You can do any pattern you want. If you wanted to put some dots or you wanted lines going vertically, you can do that. So I'm just gonna do 2 lines on each wing, one at the top and one on the bottom. All right, and now you're going to let that dry. You're going to see the gloss on there. Put that aside. So now I've got one where the gloss is dry. So the next step is, depending on what color you want your dragonfly to be, just going to put a light layer of paint over the whole thing. I'm going to do blue for this demo. So first, again, I'm going to get it wet, especially the paper in between the lines of gloss. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of blue and just lightly paint that. Okay, you can see that. Just lightly painted, and you can see where the paint is going in between where the gloss was. Okay, so now I've got one that I did earlier. It's dried, so you can see the colors coming through the gloss blocked the blue paint, so you've got the yellow and pink coming through, and then you've got the blue where there was no gloss. Okay, so the next step is we're going to take the gloss and put more gloss on the wings to kind of protect it. Here, I'm going to move my paper towel so it's easier to see what I'm doing. Okay, so just put a couple dabs of gloss on your wings. And then with your brush, smooth it out and come all the way up to where the body is. And just cover that. So when you paint the body, none of the paint will go into the wings. You can actually skip that step if you're comfortable just painting it, and if you have enough gloss on your wings, you may not need to do that. Right? Put that aside. So now I've got one that's got the gloss, extra gloss on the wings. So the next step is to paint the body. So for this, I am going to continue with the blue. Obviously you have all the colors. You can do whatever colors you want. But I'm going to paint the blue a little darker this time on the body. You can see how right where the gloss is from the wings, it's resisting the paint. See that? All right, put that aside. Now I've got one that's dry that I've done the body. So the next step is to paint the eyes and a couple lines on the body. So I'm going to do the purple for that, or the lavender. Paint in the circle of each eye. And then put a line, wherever you want. If you look at pictures of dragonflies, their bodies kind of separated. So this will indicate that. All right. I'm gonna let that dry a bit. Again, I've got one that's been painted and is dry. So now we're going to use the gloss again and put a little bit of gloss on the body. And spread it out. Now this protects the paper. It gives it a nice glossy sheen. It brings out the color. And it'll also thicken it up a little bit so it's a little sturdier. Okay, so the next step, after you've got the gloss on it, you can see it's kind of shiny there. I'm going to take the iridescent paint, and you're going to just do a layer all over the whole dragonfly. Now it's transparent, so you just need a thin layer to give it the iridescence. The colors will show through. And make sure your brush is wet when you do it so it'll flow easily. It may be kind of hard to see on the camera, but it gives it, it's kind of reflective. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. Gives it a sheen. So again, here is the finished product. I don't know if you can see the sheen of the iridescence, but you'll see it when you do it. And after that's dry, you're going to flip it over, put another layer of gloss on the back. That makes it a little bit sturdier and also protects it, gives it a coating to protect the paper from any moisture or anything. And then you're going to take the little piece of paper that came in it and glue it right, put it right here, glue it right between the two wings. That gives it just a little bit of extra support because this is a delicate shape. And then you're going to glue the magnet right in the middle. And you are all set. Thank you. Enjoy.